Yeah, good evening, everybody. Welcome back to my show, Classical Music and Technology with Seti. And the song you just heard right now was K525 by the renowned Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, one of the greatest icons of the classical music genre and one of his most prized and arguably most famous pieces of classical music. I hope you had a fantastic week and your Saturday was very blessed so far. So, before we continue to listen to all these fantastic pieces of music, I want to give you a rundown on the technology discussion, which is very interesting that we'll be having today, which will be based around, um, it's still based around like the very clouded topic, which is AI. Very like in the technology field, it's the most spoken about AI and the most spoken about topic, and we'll be delving deep into an aspect of it called humanoid robots. So physical robots like you and I that can do physical jobs that humans do. So yeah, that's what we'll be discussing. So so far, the first piece we'll be listening to will be another piece by another great composers that I usually listen to, which is Tchaikovsky, a Russian composer who has created one of the most beautiful pieces that I have ever heard. And the piece that we'll be listening to right now is called Valse Sentimentale. Well, it's pronounced in Russian, but in essence, it's like song portrays like sort of like despair or coming to a realization of of something that you were in like denial for a long time, and then it suddenly hits you with that realization. So let's listen to this piece. And that was the beautiful piece Vol Sentimentale by Tchaikovsky. And if you listen to the piece, you hear that it starts in that form of like the despair that's found within realization of like effect. But then as the music continues to progress, you feel a sense of coming into terms with that realization, and then once you come to terms with it, the beat or the melody becomes more and more beautiful, more and more upbeat, and it transitions into this beautiful ethereal melody. And the second song is that we'll be listening to is sort of like a contrast to that, but it's also similar. Contrast to the beauty, but also similar in that this following song is called Funeral March by Frederick Chopin, a very famous classical piano composer who created the most popular piano pieces up to date. So this following piece that we'll be listening to, as within the name, is about death, funerals, but it transitions similar to the piece that we just listened to from this dark and gloomy melody to a more upbeat melody. So let's listen to that piece. and that was Funeral March by Frederick Chopin, a song about that paints an image of the procession of moving the body on its way to its final destination, the grave. Song This very song was played in the composer's own funeral, which is very interesting. So next classical piece we'll be playing is one which contrasts to the pieces that we've been listening to, is one of triumph and victory by the famous English composer called Sir Edward Elgar, and his piece is called Pomp and Circumstance. So hope you enjoy. And that was Pomp and Circumstance by Sir Edward Elgar, a song which is also traditionally played in Western University at the graduation ceremony, since because the song evokes like a sense of accomplishment, winning, and conquering. So before we get to the next song, our first point that we'll be discussing about the interesting topic that we have on humanoids is that like once they start getting advanced enough that they can do human labor, they would be replacing like a large chunk of us humans in physical labor, such as construction, um, cooking, cleaning, mechanics, engineering, building cars, all of it. They'll start replacing us one by one, and the more advanced they get, the more they start replacing. And like it's only a matter of time before they start replacing us, because if you think about it or look at it, they are more efficient than us because they make less mistakes and they're more precise. Elon Musk, the CEO of Tesla and SpaceX, who's a huge part in developing this next generation of robots which will replace us, said in the next 10 to 20 years there will be a billion of these humanoid robots worldwide functioning day to day and doing the labor that they're meant to be doing. So that's just something that you should think about. In the next 20 years, there will be a billion robots living aside you and doing work that you would be doing. Okay, and the next piece that we'll be listening to before we jump into our next topic will be a piano concerto in E major by Moritz Moskowitz by a German composer. So hope you enjoy. And that was Piano Concerto by Moritz, a German composer. Some within the classical music community, this song or piece is usually known as like one of the pieces that sound as if they came from heaven, or so they say. So to continue on our topic of humanoid robots, we touched upon the topic of them being like more precise and more efficient in terms of making less mistakes. So let's like run an example of how this looks like in terms of construction. So within construction, like even though if us humans currently like we make like almost no mistakes when it comes to constructions because we've created large towers that stretch 1 kilometer without them falling down because of the engineering marvel. But build these upcoming humanoid robots will be able to efficiently with less like deviation towards the mathematics provided by the engineers to make sure that like they're like to the tiniest decibels that they'll be perfectly aligned with their workings. So we will be able to create like large, even larger buildings with creating less faults, with less mistakes, which will end up or result in us being able to create even like 3-4 kilometer buildings far larger than the current largest buildings that exist in our current day to day. Because then we won't have to worry about like the safety of the individual building those buildings, because currently right now we can't go like as high because of like the hazards, safety safety regulations they have. But with robots, that moves that factor out of the way and allows us to build as high as we can without like any of those faults. And robots don't need rest. That's another part of efficiency. They don't need rest, so they can continue working throughout the day, so day and night without stopping, which increases the duration, decreases the duration it takes in order to finish a project. So it could take like a 6 month project and finish it in like 2 or 1. Take a 4 year project and finish it in maybe 2 years or maybe even 1 year. So you see like the potentials of having a humanoid robot. Even in terms of car engineering, you could pump out even more cars, more vehicles, more products, because robots again don't need rest, so they can pump out tons of vehicles constantly, day in day out. And this you increase your supply chain, which in turn increases the revenue for the company or businesses which are manufacturing this product. Even now we have in a sense those types of robots which do that labor, but most of the other labor still has like a human there to do the things which robots can't do. But once these like humanoid robots come about, then that eliminates that factor, which then in the future you can have entire factories run with just robots alone. So the next song we'll be listening to is another song I like by one of my favorite Russian composers, Rachmaninoff, and this piece is called Symphony Number 2, Opus 24, third movement. So I hope you enjoy. And that was Symphony Number 2 by Rachmaninoff, the composer, who's known for making these dreamlike pieces which evoke a feeling of being in different beautiful world. And the final point we'll be touching on in these and this humanoid robot topic is that there will be a lot cheaper than human labor. So we're still in looking at it in the lens of like construction. So like within the construction labor, having these humanoid robots that can do the job of humans, they will be extensively like cheaper because you don't need to, like when you're paying a human, you're paying them with like an intention of giving them like their livelihoods, being able to, so that they'll be able to provide for like their families, provide for their own needs, rent, food, houses. With the robots, they don't need any of that. So you don't, like, it'll be extensively cheaper because you don't pay that additional cash towards that need. And besides that, other like maintenance costs, which will go down as time goes on, but the maintenance costs will be far cheaper than like paying for like humans, I guess. But then the question is that even ethical, like for robots to take away such important jobs from humans? But knowing like these big corporations, I don't think they would care. They would just want to like maximize their own revenue by eliminating like extensive costs, which will lead them then to these humanoid robots as soon as they get to an advanced level that they can rely on them and utilize them. So, thank you for tuning in into my show every Saturday at 6 p.m. So we will meet up, same place, same time. And I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week and a blessed Sunday tomorrow. And the final piece that we'll be listening to as I close off will be a song about Mary, Mary, the mother of Jesus, written by Schubert. The song is called Ave Maria. So I hope you enjoy it.